Today's webinar is Community Colleges Career Training and Higher Education Options for All Students. In this webinar, participants will learn about the educational credentials that a student can obtain by attending a community college. We will be focusing on workforce continuing education opportunities such as short-term, cost-effective options for students, in particular immigrant populations. We will also be discussing the variety of degree options available at community colleges, including the distinction between certificates, diplomas, and degrees. Participants will have a better understanding on the variety of career options for students who may not consider themselves eligible or interested in four-year degrees. We have three presenters with us today. All of them are from Wait Tech, and so first I'd like to introduce Elvin James. Elvin James is a recruitment and outreach officer at Wait Tech Community College. His primary roles include recruiting high school students, evaluating admissions credentials, and participating in college fairs and community events. Elvin has 8 years of college admissions and recruitment experience from his time not only at Wait Tech, but also working at Fayetteville State University as an admissions counselor in Central Carolina Community College as a career and college promise advisor. Elvin holds a bachelor's degree of arts in public and interpersonal communication from North Carolina State University. Elvin will be mainly talking about the certificates, diplomas, and degrees that students can obtain at a community college. We also have Brian M. Johnson, who will be helping to answer any questions. And Brian Johnson is a coordinator of recruitment and outreach at Wait Tech Community College, where he is responsible for the development of the college's recruitment and outreach plan, community relationship building, and serves as an advisor to student ambassadors. Prior to joining Wait Tech, Brian was an admissions counselor with Strayer University. He was an assistant director of undergraduate admissions at North Carolina Central University and coordinator of teacher education recruitment for the College of Education at North Carolina State University. Again, Brian is with us today and will be helping to answer any questions that you may have related to certificates, diplomas, or degrees. Lastly, we have Anthony Kaysen, who has worked in education for over 20 years and has been with Wait Tech Community College since 1997 in several leadership positions, including Chief Campus Officer for Wait Tech's Western, Wake, and Public Safety Education campuses. Anthony was appointed to the position of Vice President of Workforce Continuing Education in 2013, and he leads 9 divisions in providing workforce continuing education training to Wake County citizens, corporations, businesses, community organizations, municipalities, and public safety community. Anthony also serves on the following boards and advisory committees: the Capital Area Workforce Development Board, State Employees Credit Union, and Wake County Economic Development Board. Anthony will be focusing on sharing information on workforce continuing education and opportunities available at community colleges for students. We understand that we have several participants from community colleges, and just as a reminder, this presentation will be talking about, in general, the opportunities available for students. And so if you're as we're doing the presentation, if there's something that you're doing on your campus that might be beneficial for others to learn about, we welcome you to add those items in the chat box, or we encourage you to answer our survey at the end and share any initiatives or any ways that you're supporting the immigrant population or Hispanic Latino students on your campus. So now I would like to invite Elvin to take over the microphone, and he will start sharing information.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having not only myself, but my colleagues, Brian and Anthony, here today to discuss community college opportunities with you all. So we're going to share a wide variety of different things from the general information in regards to Wake Tech, but also community college as a whole. On the curriculum side and both the workforce continuing education side. So just a few things, and you can follow along with me here as I go through the PowerPoint. If you did not know, Wake Tech is the largest community college here in North Carolina. We serve over 74,000 students across 240 different curriculum programs. And within our programs, we offer certificates, diplomas, and associate's degrees, and we'll get into more details as we go along through the PowerPoint in regards to the differences between those three. If there are any students that are here with us today, if you didn't know, community colleges, they offer certificates, diplomas, and associate's degrees. If you want to go beyond that to the four-year scale, you can get your bachelor's, your master's, and even your PhD at a four-year institution. A wide variety of non-credit programs, we call that workforce continuing education. Mr. Kaysen, he'll touch on that during his portion of the seminar or webinar. We are ranked as the #1 online community college in the nation, so that's very big for us. That's something that we take a lot of pride in. Lastly, we have what we call an open door admissions policy, and this is kind of across the board for most community colleges, definitely in North Carolina. This basically means we don't utilize your GPA or your test scores to determine your general admissions in regards to not only Wake Tech, but the other colleges here in North Carolina. So not necessarily to say we accept everyone, but again, we don't utilize your GPA or your test scores to determine your general admissions into Wake Tech or your local community college. So being that we are from Wake Tech, here are just a few fun facts to get to know Wake Tech a little bit more. So more than 24% of our high school graduates from Wake County enrolling in Wake Tech within a year of graduation. Wake Tech graduates who transfer to UNC system schools have a higher GPA after 1 year than their native juniors. And if you don't necessarily know what UNC system schools are, those are our public four-year institutions here in North Carolina. So schools like UNC Chapel Hill, East Carolina University, UNC Asheville, North Carolina A&T, State University, Fayetteville State University, just to name a few, those are considered your UNC system schools. 20% of Wake Tech students already have a bachelor's degree or higher. So we do have a lot of what I consider adult learners or students who have gone way beyond community college. They actually come back to receive some type of certification or degree within a trade-related area. Last but not least, 90% of students in career programs are employed within 90 days of their graduation. We're in a big market of those who are interested in going into skilled or trade-related areas, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical systems, those hands-on programs. So students typically are very successful in finding employment within that time frame after graduation or even before, depending on where you are. So in regards to Wake Tech, and this is different, from various community colleges across the state. Again, we are the largest community college in the state, so we have a lot of different ways that you can receive your education. So we have 10 locations across Wake County, including online. So we have a southern campus, a northern campus, a brand new RTP campus, public safety education campus, and you see all of those listed there. Depending on the major that you plan to go into, that may determine what campus that you may end up at. So if you are interested in anything that is health science related, such as nursing, dental hygiene, dental assisting, those type of majors, you may end up at the Perry Health Sciences campus. If you are interested in something like criminal justice, forensics, fire technology, you may have most of your classes at the public safety education campus. And again, this is a case-by-case basis, and this is just for Wake Tech. Other community colleges may have their own setup and campuses in which you would enroll in whatever courses or majors that you plan to take part in. So at Wake Tech, we have 5 different divisions. 4 of those are primarily CTE focused, or career and technical education focused. And as you can see, those are applied engineering and technologies, business and public services technologies, computer technologies, health sciences. Those are your CTE related programs. And then you have your university transfer programs, and I'll show you the breakdown of what programs fall into what category in just a minute. The first four programs are designed for students who want to go the 2-year route or jump straight into a skill or trade upon graduation. When it comes to university transfer, if students have any aspirations of going the 4-year route, if they want to attend a 4-year college or university, most students will follow the university transfer route. So as you can see here, all of these CTE related programs are listed on the left and the university transfer programs are listed on the right. And Wake Tech does a great job of kind of highlighting the programs listed there in regards to CTE and the national median salary of what students could potentially make within that potential career field. One thing to definitely notice, and we're going to get to this also in a second, is the abbreviations and parentheses for each particular major for the CTE programs. So you will see the letters C, D, or AAS. C stands for certificate, D stands for diploma, and AAS stands for your associate's degree. So the breakdown of how different these certifications or credentials are, certificates, they're a smaller version of your associate's degree in which you can complete certain classes within a semester to a year, depending on the program that you're in. This may or may not include general education courses or UGETC courses. Courses like Psych 150, which is listed here, English 111, Math 171. When you're earning your certificate, that could be primarily focused towards that particular field that you're going to go into. Diploma, your approximate completion time will be roughly 1 year to 1.5 years, and may add a few more general education courses there. And last but not least, that will be your associate's degree, which we all know is approximately 2 years. So the full breakdown of the courses that you plan to take within your particular field. So this is an example of one of our associate programs and the courses that you may take within this area. So I've given you an example of the accounting and finance associate's degree. But you will also notice at the top left-hand corner the bookkeeping certificate. So this will show you kind of the difference of what classes you'll take within their certificate compared to your degree. So if you're looking to get your full associate's degree within this field, you're going to take approximately 67 credit hours of coursework within that program. And you can see the breakdown of what courses that you may or may not have to take in order to get your full associate's degree. But when you look at the top left-hand corner where it says books keeping certificate, it's a smaller time frame, but notice you don't have to take a wide variety or more courses in order to get that certificate. So in order to get your books keeping certificate, you will only have to take the accounting 120, the business 122, accounting 140, and the other courses listed there. So again, certificate is just a shorter time frame or credential that's associated with the full associate's degree. It's just, again, a short amount of time. And on the right side, I mentioned the diploma. If the accounting and finance department, if they had a diploma, there would be more courses offered in order for you to receive that credential. But that just kind of gives you a brief breakdown of how, you know, certificates are different from the full 2-year associate's degree. Basically, the amount of time that you're taking courses and what courses that you plan to take. So at Wake Tech, we have various university transfer opportunities that students can take part of. And every community college may be different across the state, but in regards to Wake Tech, we have some specialized programs that students can potentially take part in. So the first thing that we have is the guaranteed and co-admission programs, which basically says if you complete X, Y, and Z in regards to certain institutions and the programs, you're guaranteed admission into those programs. So we have partnerships with North Carolina State University with their C3 program, UNCW, ECU with our Pirate Promise program, and the C-Step program at UNC Chapel Hill. In short terms, you will be taking a good amount of UGETC or general education courses um, in part to transfer into these universities in regards to the co-admission programs. So the great thing about community colleges here in North Carolina, we have what we call the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement, which basically says the gen ed courses that are listed within this agreement will transfer to all public institutions in North Carolina and most private. And you can find that information within the link below. Next, we have degree-based transfer options. So if you're looking to go into a specific CTE program at Wake Tech, and again, this could be different from other community colleges across the state, you can utilize the courses that you've taken to transfer those credits to a particular university that has a similar program. And I'll just throw this example out here. William Peace, they have a simulation and game design program that will match up with Wake Tech's simulation and game development program. And lastly, in regards to university transfer opportunities, we have what we call the We Promise program. This is not a Wake Tech program. This is by the UNC system. So you have 3 UNC system schools that are offering $500 tuition for students to attend that school. So students could potentially come to Wake Tech for X amount of time, or if they decide to stay the full 2 years, they could transfer into one of these 3 institutions and receive tuition for $500 per semester. And that's Elizabeth City State, UNC Pembroke, and Western Carolina University. So those are the only 3 schools within the UNC system that take part within the We Promise program. Just like any other school, we do provide academic support. Most use, I would probably say, the Individualized Learning Center on our various campuses. We have the Disability Support Services, Social Sciences Resource Center. Again, we're just like any other school that provides academic support at Wake Tech. And then we have Student Services and Resources, in which we provide different services for students who may need some assistance in a wide variety of different areas, whether it's the male mentoring programs, student advocacy, first year experience, online learning. So there are many different things, just like any other school, that we provide services to ensure the success of the students that attend our institution. Clubs and organizations, we have a wide variety of different clubs and organizations at Wake Tech. Again, just like any other school, whether it's 2-year or 4-year. In regards to our Hispanic or Spanish population, we do have the Sigma Delta Mu National Honor Society, and that's for students of Spanish in the first 2 years of college. They do look at your GPA and cert requirements in order for you to join the organization. But all of the events that they do host are free to students at our institution. And this brings me to one of the most important steps, especially in regards to our high school students, or most students, and depending on your situation, how to become a student. And this is kind of across the board for most community colleges across the state. Your first and most important step of your application process when applying to not only community colleges, but any institution in North Carolina, you must complete the North Carolina Residency Determination Service. This is a platform in which you have to input your personal information to determine whether you're an in-state or out-of-state student. This is required for all students. I repeat, this is required for all students who plan to apply to any school here in the state of North Carolina. So that is your first and most important step. It's the longest step, but once you complete RDS, you will not have to do it again. You will receive your RCN, your residency certification number. Once you receive that number, you can use that number again for other applications to any other school in North Carolina. Your next step is to apply. if you decide to go into anything that is health science related, you must attend a mandatory information session and that's for any student who wants to go into nursing, dental hygiene, dental assisting, or radiography. And that's required for any student, and this is just in general. So if you plan to go into a health science related major, you must attend a mandatory information session. Otherwise, if you're choosing anything else, if it doesn't have restrictions, then you'll go through the general admissions process. From there, so you'll submit your transcript, you'll activate your account, go to financial aid, advising, and you'll enroll to your respective community college, or in our terms, Wake Tech. Initially, maybe about a year and a half to 2 years ago, before you were admitted, we would look at your GPA and your test scores to determine whether or not you had to take the placement test. Some things have changed, so now if a student has graduated or plans to graduate high school within the last 10 years, they will not have to complete the placement test. And this is for any high school student in North Carolina. So if you plan to graduate or are on track to graduate, or you have graduated within the past 10 years, then you will not have to take the placement test in order to be admitted. This here just gives you a brief comparison of what you need in order to apply to apply to a community college or a four-year college or university. So when you apply to a community college, specifically here in North Carolina, you must complete RDS, submit your application, and go all the way down and you'll submit your high school transcript. And this is, we'll say in terms of high school students currently. If you're beyond high school, there are some other things that we'll have to pull to get you admitted. So for your general high school students, you submit RDS, your application, wait till application or community college application, and your high school transcript, and then you'll receive your admissions letter. Again, we don't utilize your SAT or test scores and GPA to determine your admission. When dealing with four-year institutions, they're going to ask for your RDS, your application, and they're going to review your test scores, your GPA, and a host of other things in order to be admitted. Here we have a few FAQs, one DACA, and you can just kind of read over this here. Can a person approved with DACA enroll at Wake Tech? Yes, definitely they can enroll. In regards to tuition, DACA students will be charged out-of-state tuition. In regards to financial aid, DACA students are not eligible for financial aid, but they can receive potential scholarships through our Wake Tech Foundation. And if there's something that I kind of bypass, we'll definitely make sure we get this PowerPoint out to you. And if you have any questions, definitely send those in. In regards to undocumented students, it says, can an undocumented person enroll in Wake Tech? And you can read here, a person who is in the U.S. with no lawful status and granted from a high school, U.S. high school, homeschool, private, or receive an adult high school diploma to attend, basically they can attend. High school equivalency does not qualify. Again, for undocumented students, the same situation. They'll receive out-of-state tuition. Same goes for financial aid. In regards to the admissions process, for DACA students, they'll go through the general admissions process, but for undocumented students, if it's competitive entry, waitlist, or first-come curriculum programs, you're restricted to enroll in those. We kind of touched on financial aid, but those are in general terms what we offer at Wake Tech and some other institutions when you're looking at grants, work study, and loans. And this just gives you a breakdown of how much it costs to go to Wake Tech as a full-time in-state student for 12 credit hours compared to out-of-state there. And I'm actually going to bring up Brian Johnson now to answer some of the questions that we've just received. So here's Brian.
Good afternoon, everyone. Some of the questions we've received thus far, I'm going to give you some answers to those questions in which we've received. One of those questions is, what is the benefit of C-STEP? For students who are interested in one of our partnership programs that we offer with one of our sister institutions at the UNC level, four-year institutional level, we give students an opportunity to guarantee admission or at least get a lot of information about the admissions process and what those institutions are looking for those students. Particularly with the C-STEP program for the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, it allows students who maintain a certain GPA and take certain classes. It guarantees those students admission to the institution as long as they are doing what they need to do in the classroom, and it also helps them with financial aid as well. So it also looks at that financial need for those students who are interested in going to University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Another question was, can students take those CTE or career technical education classes in high school? And yes, something that we have here at all the community colleges are a lot of our programs are CTE based or focused. So students who may be taking, for example, there's a finance academy at one of the high schools here in the Raleigh-Durham area. They're interested in coming to a community college and doing something in finance. We do have a degree that correlates with that student may have learned in their CTE classroom. Culinary arts as well, very popular program. Simulation game design, anything along those areas we do have for along the lines of CTE or career and technical education is what we do have. Another question is, why might a student do a certificate diploma versus an associate's degree? So of course, Elvin explained a little earlier about our certificate programs, which are generally 6-month long programs, our diplomas, which are generally 1 year, and a 2-year associate's degree. Each one of those certifications gives you a different level of learning for each one of those areas. For some of our career fields, you can get gainful employment with a certificate. So for the student, the benefit is we know we service students from various backgrounds with various financial situations. So if a student needs to get out into the workforce to make some to start a career and make funds for themselves and to support their family, a certificate program is a quick way to get into the workforce. Our VP, Kaysen, is going to come up shortly and talk about some of those quick training programs that they offer on the workforce continuing education side of the house. And that is the beauty of the community college. We give you a variety of options to further your education and get students back out and get learners back out into the workforce so they can make gainful employment. Continuing on with the questions, are there benefits to an undocumented student doing a certificate over an associate's degree? So, with our associate degrees, we have to be mindful that some of our associate degrees require students to get further certification, particularly if you look at our health sciences area. If you're going to go on to pursue a career in allied health or something along those lines, many times they require you to have a state licensure to go along with it. This is when we begin to see an issue with our undocumented students. If they're interested in those areas, we won't stop you at the community college. However, if you go that far and the state doesn't allow a licensure because you're an undocumented resident, that's going to cause you a lot of problems. So I would say look at those programs that will not hinder you in that way for someone who's interested in that. Some of those things you will find in our certificate programs, and some of our other associate degree programs will be that as well. And in addition, our workforce continuation education programs do offer opportunities for students who are in that limbo status right now. Do believe we have some more questions. If someone has a transcript that's less than 10 years old, that person is unable to take a placement test. Is this true for you all as well? Correct. Right now, how the system is set up for those students who are in the who come in under to the community college now, we will look at the other things on that transcript as well with the admissions process, but we don't offer the opportunity to test if it's under 10 years old. Also, we had a question about CCP. So CCP is our Career and College Promise Program, which is administered on each campus. It's a mandate by the state and the community college system. It allows students to come and take college level courses while they're in college, while they're in high school on the college level for free. Students are responsible for lab fees and book fees, but the general class itself is going to be a free class. This year, the state did open that up a little further. Previously, it was juniors and seniors. Now they have opened up to 9th grade students. Each community college may administer it a little differently. So in your respective area, check with your community colleges, because someone at Albemarle Community College may not do the same thing as someone at Guilford College. So check with the CCP administrator on that campus to see how they administer that program and what programs do they have available for those students. We'll be around for additional questions, and although we don't get to today, we will make sure that we answer and get those back out to you. But I have one final question before I turn it over to VP Kaysen. What office or departments do you recommend helping DACA students to enroll in the program to best understand certifications, counselors, and admission? So generally, I always tell people, start with your admissions office. The admissions office is the gateway to the college or institution in which you're interested in. They will direct the student in the direction in which they need to go. In many cases, they will direct the student on our campus particularly. We direct our DACA students to our person who handles our international students, and they're able to advise the students in how our admissions process works there. So on each college campus, I always recommend start with the admissions office because they're going to be able to tell you where you need to go in the process, and they're going to be the ones who are going to move you on to the next steps as far as like talking with a counselor or / advisor who's going to advise you on the classes in which you're going to take. But each community college may have a slightly different process than what we have. So thank you for your time thus far, and we're going to turn it over to VP Kaysen, who's going to talk with you about our wonderful things that we have over Workforce Continuing Education.
Thank you so much, Brian and Elvin. Good afternoon. This is Anthony Kaysen. I'm going to be talking about Workforce Continuing Education this afternoon. And first of all, I want to say Workforce Continuing Education, that is our non-degree side of the house, if you will, for the college. And so many people want to know who is continuing education actually for? Well, continuing education is for anyone. We have a broad range of people who take our Workforce Continuing Education courses. These individuals range from those who already possess advanced degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, even PhDs come and take continuing education courses, but also individuals who are in the workforce and maybe want to improve their skills on their current job in hopes of obtaining a higher position at the job, or maybe they want just a different position, or they want to be more well-informed for the position that they currently have. We have lots of short-term courses that assist individuals for doing that. And also, continuing education is for older adults who just want to come take some courses for lifelong learning purposes, and also individuals who want to come back to school to get their high school diploma if for some reason they did not graduate. So with that said, I want to get into some of the program areas that we offer in Workforce Continuing Education and then dig a little deeper into some of the specific programs within these divisions. We have Education Services and Technology, Public Safety Training, Occupational Services, Professional and Vocational Services, as well as College and Career Readiness. And these are all open enrollment programs that are open to the public and for individuals to sign up for. And another question that we normally get is, are there age requirements to take these courses? And anyone who is at least the age of 16 or older is eligible to take these courses if they so desire. In our Education Services and Technology area, we do non-credit or non-degree computer classes. These classes cover the spectrum, if you will, on the types of courses that you can take. Anywhere from a low-level Microsoft Office, Word class, all the way up through cybersecurity. And I'll dig a little deeper and show you one of our cybersecurity programs. But anywhere in between that, we offer non-credit computer classes. And the good thing about our non-degree programs is that it gives individuals an opportunity in many cases to explore what it's like. If you haven't been to school in a while, you can come back to take a non-degree course, get your feet wet, get back in the habit of learning. And our ultimate goal for many students taking our non-degree programs is that they will transition over to the degree side and work towards their associate's degree or college transfer degree. That is what we like to happen for many students, but some students are just coming back once again to assist them on their job, to get a better job, and things of that nature. So it's different things for different people, but you can get that through things like our non-credit computer classes. Our lifelong and language learning classes, These are the ones typically that older adults take around a variety of things that just are around that lifelong learning field, if you will. Things that the older population, like myself, may want to come and just take something. It could be cake decorating. It could be basket weaving or what have you. But those type of things that we have for that population to keep them and keep their minds active. We have career development and personal enrichment classes. We'll get into some of those in a minute, but we have a very successful craft brewing program. We offer lots of notary classes for individuals who want to become notary publics for the state of North Carolina. We also do some other things around career development that we will get into here in a few moments. Human Resources Development, a very popular program. This program is for individuals who are unemployed or underemployed and are wanting to get back into the workforce. This is a free program for individuals who fit those categories. And what we do in Human Resources Development is teach things like resume writing, how to interview for a job, how to keep a job, and we also offer a host of career exploratory courses to give you a sense or a feeling of how it would be to work in a particular field. I'll give an example in a few moments of how we had an example for our hospitality program, a career exploration course for that, which turned into a full-fledged hospitality program, which is now training individuals in the hospitality industry, and they are getting employed as a result of that program. We also have a host of distance learning programs that you can take courses online. We have partners that we work with that, and you can take computer courses, pretty much you name it, but it's an online format to give you another option for learning. We have a very successful cybersecurity program. This is a grant that we received from the Department of Labor. Was about a $4 million grant that we received, and the goal of that is to train individuals to be ready to work in the cybersecurity field due to the huge demand that is in that industry. We're in the last year of that grant, and we are tasked to serve 350 students between the ages of 17 and 29, as well as 100 incumbent workers. We have served over 450 at this point for this program, and we are just now into our last year, about 6 months to go in that program. But as you can see, if you can see this graphic, at the bottom, we kind of show you the different stages of training that you can take, how long that training will take, and what the income wage is for those areas. So we have a Cisco track as well as a CompTIA track, and then we also have cybersecurity on the ends of those tracks. And depending on which track you take, will dictate how long the program will take for you. So between around 7 months and just under 2 years is the length of this program. But very successful. We have had several students go through the program at different levels. They will off-ramp, and they are now working in the cybersecurity field. So this is a field that we highly recommend you look into. Our hope, even though the grant is coming to an end, our hope is that we will keep this program going in this format, but to actually serve a wider range of people, since we do have the constraints of serving those between the ages of 17 and 29 as dictated by the grant. But an excellent opportunity if there's anyone out there interested in getting into the cybersecurity field. And as you can see, we have some employer partners of IBM, SAS, HCL Technologies, and we also partner with the Capital Area Workforce Development Board as well to help deliver this program. So here are some of the other programs as we dig a little deeper that we offer. So we have a very successful BioWork program. BioWork is a program for the biotechnology industry, and it is a entry-level program, if you will, for those who have an interest in working in the biotech field. We have a program based out of our Western Wake campus, but it gets you acclimated to what it would be like to work in the biotech field for one of the local biotech companies, and highly sought after by companies who are looking for individuals with entry-level skills. And many times individuals finish this program, they are hired, and the demand for these workers is increasing with the increasing number of biotech firms who are coming to the RTP area. And it's a great entry point for individuals to get into the field and then grow their career with a local biotech company. Workforce Allied Health, our primary program here is one that we are doing with nurse aid and some other medical occupations, but we actually train about 1,200 nurse aid students a year, and we actually have a brand new program that we just started offering. Is a bilingual nurse aid program. So to have that population be able to become qualified in nurse aid, because this is going to be a growing demand as our population ages. Now, in workforce continuing education, as I mentioned earlier, anybody can take our classes. It doesn't matter if you are a DACA or undocumented student, you can enroll in any of our programs. And in terms of the cost of our programs, we do not have a in-state or out-of-state rate. So it doesn't matter where you may have come from. We have set prices for most of our classes. Now, there are some varying prices for some programs, depending on what those programs are. For example, nurse aid has some associated costs with it just because of the nature of that program. So there will be additional equipment and supplies you would need to purchase to actually be a student, but there is no additional cost because you happen to be an out-of-state student or DACA or undocumented. Everyone pays the same price. Hospitality training, I referred to this earlier. This is one of our career exploratory courses that we offered in our human resources development area, and it morphed into a actual full-blown hospitality program. And now we have hospitality, basic culinary. These are some fantastic training programs for those interested in getting into the hospitality industry. Triangle area, Wake County is a bustling area for hotels and restaurants, and they are in dire need of individuals who have the capacity and desire to work into that field. If you like being around people, you like a fast-paced environment, this is a great training opportunity for you, because we do have several hotel managers, restaurant owners that serve on our advisory board. They have a lot of input into the program. When students finish the hospitality training program or a basic culinary program, we have hotel managers, restaurant owners come to the class, speak to the students about opportunities, and we have about a 75% job placement rate in those programs. So very successful, and once again, open to anyone. So for workforce continuing education programs, those are non-degree programs. So there is no federal financial aid available for those programs. However, we do have available scholarships through our Career Pathways and Student Resources program. So there are scholarship opportunities available to take our courses. We have other grant funding that comes in to provide scholarships. So to find out about all of those scholarship opportunities, you would reach out and contact our Career Pathways and Student Resources program for more information on that. Little graphic here to show you about the credential programs that we have. So we help offer programs, over 115 industry recognized credentials of what our programs will prepare you for. I do want to make the distinction that the programs that we offer are preparing you for a credential or a licensure. We don't actually issue those credentials or licenses at Wake Tech. So anyone can come and take our courses. We will prepare you for that credential, get you ready for that exam, that industry exam, that state exam, whatever it may be, for you to get that license or credential. But we don't actually issue those credentials. So anyone can take it, but if there was some issue outside of that about getting that actual credential or license, that would be outside of Wake Tech, because we don't actually issue those credentials and licenses, but we do prepare you to get those. So I want to make that distinction. We work with lots of local employers. They respond to us on a regular basis about what their labor demands are, labor needs are. And if we don't have a program in place already, we try to implement a program to help meet that labor market need that the companies in Wake County have. In our professional and vocational services area, we offer skilled trades in the area of electrical wiring. We also have a bilingual electrical wiring program. We do HVAC, fiber optics. We have a brand new basic carpentry class that's going to be starting in the spring, which is going to be a fantastic class. There's a high demand for skilled carpenters in Wake County, and we hope that this is going to be a good feeder program to get individuals with some good skills and hopefully into even apprenticeships to be prepared to work in that industry. We also have a very successful apartment maintenance program where we prepare individuals in that class to work at a apartment complex, being an apartment maintenance technician at a local apartment complex. This is a very successful program. We have employers that come in, interview students at the end of this program, and they are frequently offered employment after completing this program. So another great opportunity if you want to get into the skilled trades field. Cosmetology, we have a bilingual cosmetology program. We also do natural hair, and the bilingual cosmetology is very successful. If you have an interest in being a cosmetologist, better get to us early because you may have to sign up on a waiting list. That's just how popular this class is. But very good instructors, and we also implement or infuse small business techniques and entrepreneurship techniques in this class so that individuals who are taking this, as well as our barbering program, that when they complete the program, get their license, that they know what it means and what it takes to actually start their own business. Because in many cases, that's the ultimate goal, that students taking these classes want to own their own barber shop, their own cosmetology shop. So we bring those aspects into the class and that's part of the class. No additional fee beyond what has been paid, but we want the students to be successful because the ultimate goal is for you to have a sustainable wage, and you can do that best if you are owning your own establishment. So that's what we strive for in those programs. Our college and career readiness program, I spoke a little bit about this earlier. If for some reason you did not complete your high school diploma, this is an entirely free program that you can come and we can work with you to get you prepared to get that high school diploma. It's very important. It's the first step to a successful career, is getting that high school diploma. And for those who don't have it, you can come to us for free and get that training that you need. The actual exams have a cost associated with them, but the preparation to take that exam and be successful, we work with you on that free of charge. And we also have a very successful English as a second language program that I'll speak a little bit about here in a moment. But these are the programs within college and career readiness. Our high school equivalency program, as you can see, we work with you in reading, writing, science, social studies, and math to get you ready for that high school diploma. The exams are delivered through two organizations, HiSET and GED. We have our adult basic education and adult secondary education program. As you can see here, we offer instruction in core academic areas, including reading, comprehension, and math, and content for each has the added focus of providing career readiness skills. Now, our adult high school, that's for individuals who have 8 or fewer credits to complete to get their high school diploma. Graduates from this program receive a high school diploma from the Wake County Public School System. And have on here TOPS, that program is now Pathfinder instead of TOPS, but this is a program that we work with individuals who have developmental disabilities. And very good program, very motivated, dedicated students in this program, and we work with them. And our goal with those students is to get them prepared and get them career training so they can go out and work for themselves and provide a living for themselves. Very good group of students that we have in that program. Now our HEP program, high school equivalency preparation, this is for migrant and seasonal farm workers and their families. This program is taught in Spanish, and classes are offered in Raleigh, Goldsboro, and Siler City. And we also have an online component to that program. Very popular program, a lot of success stories out of this program. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can definitely reach out to us for that. And as I mentioned, the English as a second language program, we serve students from a multitude of countries in our English as a second language program. And there are multiple levels to the ESL program depending on what your proficiency is, but of course with the ultimate goal of teaching you the English language so that you can be proficient in that language. And once again, very successful program, very well sought after program. So if that is a need that individuals have, once again, everything that you see on this page right here is totally free. So if that's something that you're interested in, once again, please reach out to us. So with that said, let's see, were there any other questions? Karnak just passed me the paper. Let's see. Are the continuing education programs the same at all colleges? Generally, but many programs or colleges will have their own twist to some of their programs. Some of it, is based on the location. For example, if you were on the East Coast at, say, Cape Fear Community College or something, they may have some continuing education programs that are, say, maritime based, that deal with like making boats or doing things on the water because of where they're located. If you're in the mountains, they may do something specific to that region that's more relevant to the mountains. But generally, most things are offered at all community colleges, but there are going to be some specific things that some colleges, that other colleges may not offer. Are the requirements the same for all colleges? Yes. So there are 58 community colleges in North Carolina, and we all operate off of the same requirements for workforce continuing education as well as our degree programs. Third question, what is the average cost for continuing education classes? So that's going to vary. Now we do have a scale, if you will, for the cost of classes. So at a basic level, any class that is 24 hours or less is going to be $70. A class that is between 25 and 50 hours is going to be $125, and any class over 50 hours is going to be $180. Now, with that said, many classes may have some associated supply costs or equipment costs, whatever, depending on what that class may be. But if it's just a basic general course that falls with, and books, of course, but just a basic course that falls within those parameters, those will be the price points. For example, for our nurse aid program, after everything is bought, the class itself is going to be a $180 class, but you got to get your scrubs, you got to get your shoes, you got to get your stethoscope. There are shots that you have to take, just to be a student. So there are some associated costs for that program. So it depends on what it is. Is going to ultimately dictate what that price is. But most courses are always going to have a book associated with it, so you have to consider that as well. And number 4, does the business sponsor tuition exception also apply to continuing education classes? Business sponsor tuition exception. I will tell you, and I think maybe what you're asking, we do have students who are employed, and their employer will pay their fees for their courses. And yes, we can do that in workforce continuing education. We call that a sponsorship from a business. So if you're working for a company and they say, I want you to go and learn Microsoft Excel so you can be better at your job and we'll pay for it, we can accommodate that. So hopefully that is answering that question. College and career readiness programs, does that apply to all colleges? Yes, each of the 58 community colleges has a college and career readiness program, yes, and follow the same parameters and rules and regulations. All right. Well, all right, looks like all the questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So someone from Pitt Community College says that the actual business sponsor exemption business-sponsored tuition exemption program does not apply to Con Ed, but like Anthony said, there might be some employers that could pay for that for the students to take courses. But I want to again thank you all for joining, and I want to thank the gentleman for sharing just all the great information about the different or the variety of options for education that a student can pursue at a community college, and just a distinction between a certificate, diploma, degree, and degrees, and the benefits of continuing education. I know that a lot of us work with undocumented students and DACA students, or just students in general, and just trying to figure out what is the best pathway for them, what is the most affordable option. And so we've learned about how continuing education, they don't even, you don't have to worry about paying out-of-state tuition. It's one fee for everyone. And so I think that's really great to know. And so there is something at a community college for everyone, right? And one thing that I encourage you all, especially if you're working at a community college, I know we have some individuals here from community colleges who maybe their college offers other type of opportunities, other type of programs, is that we're working on communicating the resources and the programs with the Hispanic population. My experience has been that a lot of times the Hispanics in the communities, a lot of times they're not aware of what is offered, the differences between the different, a certificate, diploma, or that they can study something in continuing education. And so just how are we communicating that message? Are we providing classes in Spanish like Wait Tech offers, right? So Wait Tech offers the some bilingual courses, and so does your community college have the capacity to offer a bilingual course? And so just looking into things like that. And for those of you that are working with high schoolers, now that you've learned a little bit more about the different opportunities at community colleges, now you can talk to them and share the different opportunities and different options. And one thing that Elvin mentioned that I really appreciated was the fact that Wait Tech offers scholarships for DACA students. And so I feel like a lot of times our students are not aware of these opportunities, and sometimes individuals that may be working with high school students, like college access professionals, sometimes they may not know about those opportunities. But if you're working with high school students that may be Hispanic or DACA or undocumented, make sure that you're contacting your local community college to ask about scholarships for DACA or undocumented students. As Wait Tech mentioned, they offer scholarships for those students, and so your college, local college, may offer. And if you're working at a community college, and if your college doesn't offer scholarship, I definitely encourage you to maybe connect with Wait Tech to see what they're doing to provide funding or some financial support to students. So again, I want to thank the gentleman for all the great information and sharing the resources that are available at Wait Tech. And a lot of these resources are similar at other college campuses, but just know that all colleges do offer certificate, diploma, degrees, and then all of them do offer continuing education. And so just keeping all of that in mind. So with that being said, I want to also remind you all of the recordings that are available on cfnc.org. So if you want to access any of the recordings, they should be available on our website, and you can access them 4 different ways. We also have our final webinar on December 11th, and it's going to be Sarah Wright from Surrey Community College is going to be providing the webinar, Si Se Puede, Building Trust and Relationships. So if you have not registered for the webinar, I encourage you to go to cfnc.org/events to register. And just a reminder that we will be sending the presentation out, and we will also be sending a survey shortly, so we encourage you all to please complete the survey. And there's an additional question on this survey just because we want to learn what, if you're working at a college, at a community college, we want to know what you're doing on your campus to engage or to recruit or support the Hispanic, Latino population in your community. Well, thank you everyone again for joining. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving break. And any questions that you all may have, feel free to reach out to us. And again, thank you so much. And thank you, Brian, Elvin, and Anthony, for all the great information that you shared.